What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I don't just say that, I really mean that. I appreciate anyone that takes the time to watch my videos. I don't just say that to be redundant. So thanks for tuning in. I was thinking this morning as I was driving to my route, I was thinking about young men, teenagers, young men in their 20s. And this doesn't apply to everybody, and it's not going to apply to every teenager or every young man. But especially in the black community, when we look around and we look at our young boys, we can see in a lot of their eyes the sense of being lost, the sense of not really having an identity, a true identity, and trying to fit in to society, and to be honest, trying to fit into whatever the latest and greatest hip-hop song is promoting. And this has always been, this is nothing new, right? This trend, this thing, however we grew up. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, rap music, all of that. It would become a part of us, and sometimes we would try to emulate those things. So this is nothing new. The problem, though, is that things become worse as they progress. And we're starting to see it played out in real time. I grew up in a day where you could still get into a regular fist fight with someone and be lumped up for a couple of days. I mean, if you didn't have the good hands, if you didn't have a crew that had your back, then you probably, you was going to be swole up for a couple of days. But you was able to survive and live long enough to have kids, have a wife, have a career, enjoy the things of life. Those days is over with now. I mean, even those of us old school cats that's been around for a while, you'll hear him say it all the time. We don't have no time to deal with these young bucks out here, because they reaching in their jacket and they trying to pull out something. They don't understand, just how life really operates. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking a lot of it traces back to the quality of fathers that these young men have or have not had in their life. I had a high quality father in my life, and I grew up in a military environment. So most of the young men that I grew up with, even as teenagers, we were troublemakers. Do not get me wrong. We were troublemakers. I mean, we wasn't bad kids, but we was rowdy. We was rowdy. The base where when I was about 15 or 16, there was so many of us within 3 or 4 streets. I'm talking, between 75 to 100 of us who was all friends, that they pretty much had to split us up. They had our fathers relocate to another side of the base. They split us up like 4 different ways just to try to break up what was going on. So, and then most of them, their fathers was the one that was in the military. So I've grown up around teenage boys who had their fathers, but yet was still rowdy. But I've also seen some of the ones that would come in the summer. There was a lot of teenagers that would come in the summer to stay with their uncle who was in the military, because they were causing so much trouble for their sister or whatever, the uncle's sister. And these young men did not have fathers, quality fathers in their life. And you can really see the difference in their decision making even as a teenager, I saw the difference. The ones that had no father figure in their life or no father at all were the ones that was willing to do way beyond what we was wanting to do at that time in our life. They almost had a sense where they did not care. They almost had their self-worth was so low that they was willing to do whatever because they knew that there's nobody really. Yeah, my uncle may care about me. He may take me in for a couple months, but I'm going right back to a messed up environment. I'm going right back to the inner city. I'm going right back to where nobody really cares. Now, they're not saying all of this, but you can see it in their actions. You're talking about a kid could come in from June to mid-August in the summertime and get in more trouble than all of us who live there on a day-to-day basis. And the common denominator was they lacked a father in their life. So I was thinking about that this morning on the way to my route. And I want to say again, as I say often on some of my videos, I just want to keep sowing the seed. I'm going to make more videos about it to just keep sowing the seed, to try to get somebody's attention, especially fathers. Fathers, men, fellas, listen. If you're watching this video and you are not taking the time out, let's say you have a son, particularly a son, for right now, I'm just talking about boys. If you have a son, I don't care if he's in another state. I don't care if you don't get along with your ex-wife and your baby mama. That's not my concern. If you have a son and you are in your right mind and you are not invested in him at all, you're leaving it all to the woman, to the mother, and you are living your life free from worry, free from stress. You got somebody, you're dealing with somebody else, and you got a son in this world that you're not investing in to some degree. I'm saying to you, shame on you. I'm saying to you, your son, these boys, these young men, they need their father in their life. Shame on you, black man, if you have kids out here that you are not investing in. Listen, and you have the ability to do so. So I understand if you don't have for whatever reason, if you don't have the ability to do so, for whatever, I can't think of what that may be, but I'm sure there is a circumstance where you may not have the ability to have access, for whatever reason, to at least pick up the phone and speak positive words of direction into your son, into your child. By nature, when you had that child, when you sowed that seed, by nature, especially to a young man, you have a responsibility by nature to put your influence into that child's life. And if you leave it all to the woman who can only do the best she can, but she cannot. She can do the best she can. And that women, I know y'all got a tough role, you single mothers. I am of the believer that the best a woman can do when it comes to raising a young man is the best she can do. I do not think that it will cover everything that a man was supposed to do if he was in the picture. That's my firm belief. I've seen it, and I'm probably not going to shift off of that perspective. I think that a woman can only do the best she can, but I do not believe it will amount to as much as a good father would have done if he was in the picture at the same time. Even if they were not together, but his influence on his son, I believe will make the difference. So listen, fathers, listen, men. I'm going to say this again. If you have a son in this world and you're watching this video, and you know that your investment in him, and I'm talking particularly young boys, teenage boys, by the time they out the house, and men, of course, make the connection. But I'm talking specifically young men going into teenage or teenage boys. Most of the time, by the time they become a teenager, you're already fighting a hard losing battle, but still make the effort. But if we can catch these young boys before they get into their teenage years and put positive influence into their life, showing them the real ways of life that we now understand, the real choice and consequence, reasoning, and we can put in them wisdom, and we can put in them some practicality where they can understand to make. I grew up with a rough crew. I had tough guy friends, so to speak. We thought we were it. But I still knew that I was going home to a father that did not play any games. So my reach of the nonsense that I was going to do was limited because I knew there's a man in my life that's not going to allow me to get away with this crazy stuff. At least up to a certain degree, I knew. Now the stuff that we did, like I said, a lot of fighting, a lot of scraps, men, we can kind of, our boys get in the fight. Okay, we understand how that goes. So we get that. But there was a lot of other things I didn't get involved in because I had a couple of friends that was into taking people's cars that didn't belong to them and doing all that stuff. I put my hand in that for a little while and got out of it because I knew the end of that is going to be my dad's not going to play with me. And I understood the support that he already put in my life. It kept me from making a lot of very bad decisions. So I just want to put that out there today. I don't want to offend nobody, hurt nobody, feelings, doing nothing like that. But man, we got to be honest with ourselves. We got to start holding ourselves accountable. If we got young boys out here, we have a responsibility. Pick up the phone, call them, talk to them, apologize, come back into his life. Forget the relationship that you have with the baby mama. Y'all don't get along. Okay, that's fine. She grown. You grown. But there's a young boy that needs direction. And he needs it from his father. So hopefully this helps somebody. Thank y'all for watching.